My name is Sarah Woodbury. I'm here with my sickly husband, Dan, to talk today about the Welsh March.
What is the march and where does the word march come from? What does it mean?
What we're talking about is the borderlands between Wales and England. The word march, which is kind of the confusing part, derives from the older English word mark, which meant boundary. So when the Normans, speaking French, came in, they said marche, M-A-R-C-H-E is how they spelled it, which then comes back around to English as march, the Welsh March.
Okay.
It was created by William the Conqueror, who spent 4 years conquering England and then turned his attention to Wales, starting around 1071. Because his forces were stretched thin, having conquered all of England, he gave the lands in this border to his 3 most trusted vassals and made them earls. So we have the earldom of Chester given to Hugh d'Avranches, the earldom of Shrewsbury to Roger de Montgomery, and the earldom of Hereford to William Fitz-Osborne. They were given authority that was almost the level of a king, so they had like mini kingdoms. In particular, while they still owed military service and their personal loyalty to the king, they didn't have to pay taxes. And they also had the authority to create forests, boroughs, and markets, a privilege reserved only for the king for the rest of England.
Wow, that's a lot of economic power, which would lead to military power.
That's right. They took advantage of that for sure. With that, it's important to point out that we've seen maps of the march in other videos. The maps that we show in this video aren't necessarily going to look the same. And that is because these earldoms were more in the person rather than the place. So they were basically told to control and contain the Welsh. And any land they could take, they could keep. So the land ebbed and flowed, and thus the maps that we create changed over time.
Yeah, I've noticed that trying to make the maps, when I look through a series of maps online, some will be of a very similar era, but have names for kingdoms and administrative units that are completely different than others.
Right, exactly. And a lot depended on not only the power of the earls, but their lesser lords to whom they gave power and basically said the same thing: go conquer this little region if you can hold it. And the power of the Welsh lords who opposed them.
Mm-hmm.
Along these lines, they tried different techniques to maintain that power. One was building hundreds of castles all throughout the march. Wales has more castles per square mile than any country in Europe. Another, begun initially by Henry I, was to invite settlers from outside Wales to come, particularly into South Wales, so English, Norman, and Flemings, to build towns within South Wales, pushing out the native populace, making the land easier to control. In addition, all through this, there were lords who were vassals to these earldoms, and they were given a similar kind of enormous power within their range. One of these men, for example, was Robert of Rhuddlan, who conquered most of Gwynedd up until 1094. The greatest inroads actually took place in the south, however, moving west from Chepstow Castle, which was begun in 1067 by William Fitz-Osborne. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. If you like this video, click on the playlist or subscribe to my channel. There'll be a new video next week. And if you want to check out my books, click on the link to my webpage.